Hello, everyone. Wherever you're listening, joining us, welcome along. It's Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast, where we've got Super Saturday to preview. Frankly, it's a mad day. There's just so many races to get stuck into between Newmarket, between Ascot and York. But it's like this every year, and ultimately, really good racing. It's competitive stuff, and that's born out in this year's renewal of the July Cup, which is very competitive. And we're going to have a few. Well, we're not going to have a few selections going up in that. We've got a team steam in that. I don't quite know how we've arrived at that, but we have. Charlie Poste and Steve Jones join me, Tom Stanley. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. A reminder of the offer to get 50 quid in free bets. You just got to bet 50 to get 50. It's very simple. The T's and C's are on the website. Use the code POD50 to bet 50 and get 50 in free bets. And I will also remind you of the £5 money back as a free bet, best bet. At the end of the podcast, we put up 3 selections as our best bets, and you can put £5 on that treble. And if it doesn't win, you get your money back. Very simple. So July Cup, Steve Jones, you can kick us off. We've all selected who?
Have we all gone for Big Mojo? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, I fancied Big Mojo big time at Ascot, and I thought got a horrific run. Wasn't Holly Doyle's finest hour by any means, and I could easily have, well, would have finished in the frame. Could easily have won in the Commonwealth Cup. Does need to prove that he's up to Grade 1 level, but he certainly looked it last year when he was 4th again. Didn't get the cleanest runs through in the Breeders' Cup over 5 furlongs. I think he wants 6 furlongs now. Now Tom Marquand takes over. Tom Marquand won on this horse first time up this season in the what's called the Commonwealth Cup trial, and won really well, and then didn't get the clearest of runs in the Sandy Lane at Haydock. This is a horse that needs things to drop right. I'm hoping that they might decide to ride him a little bit closer to the pace, because I don't, on the July course, even though there's that stiff finish, for the most part, they're racing downhill, and it's a sharp 6 furlongs. So I'm hoping the pace will be fast, which is almost certain to be, and that he can pick the pieces up that final climb.
Charlie, what do you want to add to that, sir?
Not masses to add. I mean, I think it's more as well, like they're a pretty ordinary bunch, the sprinters, aren't they? You know, as in you go down through them, and Notable Speeches dropping back in trip. Flora Bermuda seems to find winning hard. Whistle Jacket finished just in front of Big Mojo with a smoother passage at Ascot. Inner Sherin bombed out last time. I'm surprised Big Mojo's as big as he is price-wise. And yeah, I thought he was an interesting one, as Steve says. If he gets ridden a little bit closer to the pace, it would be a bonus as well.
Yeah, I haven't got much to add other than my starting point was to play away from the top of the market, because I'm not sure about run styles here. Certainly, it's got to be a question mark for Notable Speech, who might outclass them, but I don't want to play at the prices to find out. So I wanted to have 2 on side at prices. One of those is Big Mojo, for all the reasons the guys have said. Was priced up on account of that run last time, but actually is better than that. That was a weird race as well. It felt odd. And I thought Believing was a price at 11.0. We know she's a Group 1 winner. We know she's capable at the very top level. She chased her Bradstell in the Nunthorpe and in the Flying 5 at the Curragh. And the 6 here should really suit her. Like she's good enough, and she's 11.0. All right, I get last time, you know, that was her start for a little while. She was on the speed when it paid to come from off it. So I thought there were excuses there. She's a big price. So Big Mojo and Believing on side for me against the top of the market. And if the supplemented miler goes and wins it, then so be it. Go for it. Okay, that's July Cup done. So now we're coming back. We've got nothing in the first race because it's an ITV Fillies Maiden, which is kind of odd, but I think it's been on the card for a couple of years now on terrestrial. Anyway, we've got no plays in it, but we do in the Fillies handicap at 212. You two agree again. So Charlie, first of all.
Yeah, bountiful for me and Steve in this race. You know, she reappeared with a really good run at Lingfield back in March, and then I presume because they were very happy with the handicap mark, they left her off for Royal Ascot, and she just never really got into the race behind Never Let Go. But I mean, a lot of the action, the main action anyway, sort of happened away from her towards the middle of the track, at the far side of the track, rather than where she was. She still made some decent enough late headway. She got dropped £2 for that. I don't think dropping back a furlong in trip is going to be an issue to her. And back in slightly calmer waters, like I said, I think the mark is very much workable. And relative to the favourite, the Fanchio horse Miss Nightfall, who was not that far in front of her at Ascot, the price difference just seems way too big for me. So I think she's 11.0 bountiful.
Steve.
Yeah, for all those reasons. And what I will add is that this meeting last year, and Bountiful was fourth in the Duchess of Cambridge Stakes, a Group 2 for 2-year-old fillies. And she ran really well in it, only beaten less than 2 lengths by horses that went on to win group races mostly. So back in a handicap, I think she's a massive, massive price.
That is 2 shouts for Bountiful. I was very tempted by misinformation, but I thought in a 9-runner field, again, I could play away from the top of the market, certainly away from Miss Nightfall at the very top. And I quite like the chances of Raneen for Tom Marquand and William Haggis, another one of the 3-year-olds in here, who I'm willing to forgive last time. I mean, ran okay at York. I do think there's always a case on fast ground at York that if a horse is a bit below form, and I thought she was just a bit below form based on the Doncaster run, you might just want to forgive her that. She's tried 7 before. I mean, the way she ran at Doncaster, I thought she shaped as though 7 would really suit. But last time she just didn't really run her race. She didn't hit the line hard. She was a bit disappointing. But again, I can quick ground at York. I can put a bit of the line through that, and I'll chance her again here over 7. Again, I think quick ground is okay. We know it is. It's just that York factor, which can be a funny one. So I'll have a go at here at Newmarket, Tom Mark and William Haggis, and her run style should suit. She's 10.0. Win and place, not a massively strong opinion, but playing away from the top of the market. Moving on with Newmarket, this is what we're doing, by the way. We're going to go Newmarket rather than jumping around through the cards. We're going to go Newmarket, then we've got York, and then we've got Ascot, all the ITV races. So Bunbury Cup is up next. No bet for Steve Jones. Charlie, you are keeping the faith with the painful Moor Thunder.
Yeah, completely right, mate. Very painful. But I mean, look, I'm not really saying that he's a massive bet at 2.5, but I think he'll win. I think there's every chance he could end up, well, he's going to end up in group company before the end of the year. There was even sort of slight chat that he might have been supplemented for the July Cup, you know. So if that's the case, 98 should still be very workable. And look, we're trying to pick winners, and I think he's a very, very likely winner of this race. As you said, the field size is disappointing, only the 13 runners. Hopefully that makes it even less of a lottery. Stepping up a furlong in trip should suit him really well with his run style. And yeah, I mean, it was just purely borrowed what happened at Ascot. It was a shocker.
Yeah, I weirdly sort of could see that. I can see him the Saturday at Ascot next year lining up in the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee, like Group 1 stick sprinter. I don't think the July Cup would have suited, but if you think that he's got to go and win this, he probably will. I just want to see him do it at that price. There's a slight element of his run style and the track, and I don't know, just the luckless run last time. It concerns me a bit to play at the prices, but I think he'll go and win. So I'm certainly not against him. The one I want to back is Dark 30 at 19.0. Previous course and distance winner. I know he's a couple of pound wrong, but it's just so consistent, this horse, and these sorts of tracks really play to his strengths. So obviously he's got the penalty. He's £2 wrong as a result of that, which isn't ideal, but 19.0, can I see him in the frame at this track? 100%. So yeah, I'll have a few darts on him, 19.0, but I do think Moor Thunder will absolutely go and dot up. The 325, couple of shouts for fifth column from Steve and I. Steve?
Well, I'm staggered by that. I know it's a Godolphin horse, but Charlie Appleby's got 2 runners in it. Did you not realise? You're not tipping either of them. And fifth column 1 was
see
7.
El Cordobes one, Steve. Good old El Cordobes. Get one again. Go on, lad. Go on, the Cordobes. Go on, the boys in blue. Go
on. Fifth column was only 7th at Royal Ascot, but that was an excellent run because he had no chance over on the far side. He was the best of those drawn on the far side in the Britannia. It was on the Thursday where everything was down the stand side rail when you consider the first 3 home in the Britannia, which is 30 runners, was 29, 30, 28, and then it went 27, 31. So you had to be stand side, and fifth column ran really well, having previously looked pretty progressive. Won on handicap debut at Sandown when I thought that was a really smooth performance of a horse that was going forward. So I'm going to stick with fifth column.
Yeah, but I think the horse should be favourite. It's like Bedouin Prince is priced up on account of looking really good, obviously, but he's coming in on handicap debut for mark of 100, where I feel we know fifth column is well treated off 92, or based on the Seraph Gabriel run, which has worked out really well, and then just no chance last time. The cheap pieces went on last time. They keep going with those. It's not really part of the argument. He's well treated on account of the Seraph Gabriel win, and last time it did not work out at all, and I feel like he should be the same sort of price or shorter than Bedouin Prince personally. So I'll be with fifth column there. Who are you with, Charlie? Bit more of a price.
A little bit more of a price, but I think it's a really interesting race. So I think it's going to be a race that'll work out and one to follow through the remainder of the season. Mr. Winston for me, Andrew Bolden's going really well. This horse just keeps improving with every start. His penultimate run at Haydock was a really good one, narrowly beaten by Love Beach, who runs later this season at Chester. I thought she'd have a massive chance up there. I think she's about 4.5. And then he got the job done back. He got the job done at Chester on his next start, where they pulled Mars clear and he beat a short price Wathnan horse, Cercios. And he was really good doing it. Hit the line strong. Looks a big horse. Really good action. I think this track might suit him well enough. And he's just starting life off an interesting mark. I think a mark of 84 is very workable. But as I've said, there are some likely sorts in here, and I definitely can see the case for fifth column. But yeah, I just thought this lad was not less exposed, but comes in starting handicap life off at the right end at off 84 with a really good weight.
That's us done at Newmarket, nothing in the next. So we move on to York, which is the John Smith Racing handicap, the 2 o'clock. I'll come back to you, Charlie. I was tempted to go in again on blue for you at this track, but you have.
Yeah, I mean, he's won the race for the last 2 years, and maybe it is just too glaringly obvious, and he's trying to get the 3-timer up. But at the same time, David O'Meara, these are his sorts of races, and this horse, well, this is his race, as in he's won it the last 2 years off higher marks, and then he shaped well on his latest start at the track over, I think it was 7, where he kept on nicely into third, suggesting for all the world, like, obviously the step back up to a mile will suit. And, this is his time of year. I think he's done the majority of his winning in July and the majority of his winning in this race. So at 6.5, yeah, I'm with blue for you to get the 3-timer up.
I came back to the favourite. I thought Ramouz would go and win this. Owen Burrows won this with a 3-year-old a few years ago with the Suffer. That was the last 3-year-old to go and win the race. Ramouz has shown some obviously good form winning at Doncaster first couple of starts. And then last time, I thought ran a little bit better than the finishing position at the Royal Meeting in the Jersey. Again, it's a kind of weird race, but one of those where the pace just held up so well, and Ramouz did best of those off it. So I thought that was a bit of a mark-up run, to be honest. And the 3 that finished ahead of him were ahead of him throughout the race. And It was just one of those days on the straight course again where at Ascot, where it was quick ground and the pace was holding up really well, but that's not normally the case. Mark at 98, think he left unchanged from that, could be a little bit better than that. So, and they've obviously come back to this race for a good reason, given the history of it. So Remuse for me at 4.0. Steve?
Sissy fan who likes York, if you go even back to a couple of years, was only beaten a couple of lengths in the Convivial Maiden, which is one of the most prestigious maidens of the season. And since then, we're absolutely bolted up at this meeting last year by 5 lengths. Okay, the ground was a bit softer, but he's got no problem with the quicker ground. In fact, it might help really because it'll allow him to get rolling along in front. And Flight Plan also likes to go forward. I think they'll dictate it between them, and the best horse of that pair will win. And I think it's Sissy Fan who ran well at Royal Ascot in the Royal Hunt Cup, down the middle of the track where you didn't want to be. And previous to that, it only been beaten half a length when runner-up behind your horse, Tom, at York, who is called Old Cock, who's also in the field.
He is indeed. He is indeed. Steve, are you done? You've thrown me. I was trying to think of something funny to come back with, but it was filthy. So I thought I'd swerve it. There you go. We're done on the 2 o'clock. The 2:35. I'm sitting it out, thankfully. You can make. I would have been with Steve, to be honest. Jam Jungle in the City Walls, but I couldn't quite hit the button.
Yeah, in another horse who loves York. Okay, he's stepping up from handicaps to listed races, but that's probably not a jump at all. And ran another cracking race last time. Just didn't quite get the cleanest run through at York when beaten. Runner up for Squealer. That was a couple of weeks ago, was it? And had won the dash at Epsom previous to that. And the key with Epsom and York over 5 furlongs, you need pace, and that's what JM Jungle's got loads of. So yeah, he'll give it a right good go. And I think I'm just a little bit surprised he's not favourite, to be honest.
Charlie, like here.
Yeah, Star of Maymas for me. I mean, this has been won by some good sprinting 3-year-olds in the past. I mean, Starless took it out last year, Winter Power, Marsha before that. I'm not saying she's as good as them necessarily, but she ran really well at York on a penultimate start under a penalty, went down by a head to Tropical Storm, then ran a good race at Sandown, looked the winner 100 yards out and just got outstayed on that stiff track. This return to a flat 5, I think it was exactly what she wants. She's all speed, and I think she'll take a little bit of pegging back in this. I really do. I mean, granted, on official ratings, she's probably got quite a bit to find, but we know official ratings mean not a lot.
Nada. I'd like this podcast to be sponsored by official rating. But yeah, it's not. That's the City Wall Stakes. John Smith's handicap next. Hand of God's got to have a right chance here, Charlie. Newmarket was sent off the warm favourite, but I interviewed Harry Charlton before the race, and he was just like, not ready, not going to happen. So that was no great surprise. And then I thought shaped pretty well last time and just didn't stay. So this is going to be his trip. He looks well treated off 102, I think, based upon what he did last year. Quick ground's fine, and this is going to be much more his trip. I'm quite excited about him at the prices, personally. You?
Yeah, I think he's really, really interesting. Like you say, when he bolted up at Ascot last year, he looked for all the world like he's going to end up in group company. He'd had problems. I mean, again, I think I did sadly put him up at Newmarket when he was backed as if he couldn't get beat. So it'd have been interesting to know Harry's thoughts before that, but never mind. On
the channel, it was right before, it was very close to the off, genuinely.
Yeah, very close to the off is no good to me. But anyway, I'm glad that you were in the know. That's all that matters, mate. But yeah, as in And I mean, it sounds like Ryan Moore said to him that. I mean, we just presume that he must have been completely flat and undercooked, because they've said about stepping up to a mile and a half. He travelled seriously well on the Duke of Edinburgh. Again, Harry Charlton afterwards said William Buick thought that he would win a furlong down, and he just flattened out behind Ethical Diamond. As you've said, the dropping back to 10 furlongs on a flat track should suit him well. That run showed the mark of 102 is workable. And I still think he can make up for lost time and win this on the way to becoming a group performer later in the campaign.
Steve Jones.
I didn't realise I'd put up so many horses who ran well from not great draws at Royal Ascot. And I'm going to do another with Fox Legacy, who won that race that Hand of God wasn't ready for at Newmarket at the Guineas meeting. And I thought ran another good race at Ascot, and going up to a mile and 2, I think it's going to be perfect for Fox Legacy. It was a mile and 1 at Newmarket, and obviously the Hunt Cup's a mile. I think going 10 furlongs is going to be perfect. So yeah, Fox Legacy and an open race. I love this race, John Smith's Cup. Good to see 19 runners, 13 runners in the Bunbury Cup. That's appalling.
The first of the races we're doing at Ascot is the Summer Mile. Again, I'm with you here, Charlie. So and I'm not surprised you are. You've been very strong on this horse throughout, really. I guess the question is, will he improve for a mile? Because he might have to. And my view is, I think he probably will.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Like the step up in trip is the slight query, but he hit the line really strong in the Buckingham Palace. I mean, I suppose the big thing is setup, Tom, isn't it? As in he is a keen goer, but there is pace in this. It's not a particularly big field. You'd imagine David Probert's going to drop him right in and ride him patiently. But I just keep going. I think this horse is very, very good. I mean, he looked so much better than them in a handicap at Royal Ascot, and it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up even progressing beyond this Group 2 level. I think he looks like a top notcher, I think. And so I'm very, very confident he'll take this out. I think he's a lot better than Hatton.
Yeah, agreed with you, Steve.
Yeah, it's surprised by that. Hatton is a top notcher, because he's shown that throughout his career. Was third in the Guineas, second to Rosalien in the Irish Guineas. If you go back to his 2-year-old form, it was very good. And last time at Royal Ascot, I was surprised a little bit that he was so good over a mile and 2. I have no problem dropping back to a mile. In fact, I think the rank course at Ascot over a mile, getting a lead off a horse like Point Linus, that'd be ideal for him. And I think he'll be the one striking in the closing stages, like going into the last couple of furlongs, picking it up off Point Linus, and then getting first run on everyone. So a horse with loads of class and comes there in good form, and everything is perfect, I think, for Harton.
All right. Team Wathnan, anyway, for as far as Harton goes, and never so brave for Charlie and I. So we'll see. I think Harton is the chief danger for sure. Big Field Handicap at 450 at Ascot. 3 different horses going up. Straight back at you, Steve. Kick us off.
Sorry, too many windows open again. Tocco Madero, I think way overpriced. I mean, this is going to be a very open race, but so I want to be with something at a decent price, and that's Tocco Madero, who is trained by Brian Meehan, ridden by Charlie Bishop, who won the July Cup, July Stakes yesterday. And this is a horse who has been very consistent this year. I think definitely dropping back to 5 furlongs. It was 6 last time at Newbury. At Windsor. Will suit this horse. Got a lot of speed, and I think you're going to put that to good use. The standout bit of form, I suppose, is the third to American Affair and JM Jungle in a York handicap that couldn't have worked out any better. Obviously, American Affair won the Group 1 at Ascot. JM Jungle at York is fantastic, and Shagran, who was 4th, just behind, has run real sand races listed in group races since. So Toca Madeira, very, very interesting, I think, at decent price.
All right, I will go with Stormy Impact for David Allen and Richard Fahey. Of course, won at Epsom, won that 3-year-old handicap with a perfect run style for here, really. And then lined up last time and ran better than the finishing position. Was second on that side, but didn't really get a clear run. Lines up off a pound lower. And I wouldn't mind having another dart at this horse. The yard have been in good form ever since Epsom, really. And he proved he handles. She proved she handles quick conditions. I just think her run style will really suit. And she would have got a lot closer with a clear run here last time. She's 12.0. I'd rather back her than Holcomb Bay back in trip anyway at the respective prices. Charlie?
Yeah, I can see that one definitely, Tom, as well. Just before we go on, Dees put in the chats about Nostrum in the Group 2 at Ascot, and I think he is a horse to keep on side. You and I put him up last time, and he ran poorly at York, but I think you need to see a bit more at the moment. But he definitely is an interesting project, I think, as the season goes on.
There was no money at all last time, nothing, and then he ran like he had 3 legs.
Yeah,
so I totally see it. I just I'd almost want to see a bit of market support or something, because he's had his issues as well. But I totally see it.
Yeah, but yeah, in this sprint handicap, Germanic for me, for the Julie Camacho team, that they're going really good. This horse they bought from William Haggis at the Horse in Train sale, gave a few quid for him, and his first 2 starts for the yard behind Completely Random, who ran well in the Woking, and at Leicester was solid, and then a really good run behind Ferris at Newcastle. You know, he's a group class horse. Didn't really happen at Ascot. Finished in the middle behind Get It in the Wokingham. What's interesting, because he did run over 7 for the Haggis yard before, but he's been quite a keen goer for this team, and the drop back to 5, it might just work, you know, as in he's 26.0, going to back him win and place. And Kieran Fallon rides. He's ridden him in his previous yard, and he's got a good strike rate for the Camacho team. I think he's sort of 3 from not that many goes. I think he's got over 25% strike rate for the yard. So big price, Germanic 26.0.
That is a price. And that's us done for the previews for the live races. Any other bets? I've got one at Newmarket today, just because I didn't want to let it go without putting it up. It's early. It's in the 150 Palazzo Blue for Marco Botti, who had a winner there yesterday. This horse was upped in grade last time. I got no idea why. It was a weird run. Whether they wanted to... I don't even know what they were trying to do, to be honest, because the horse is well treated and now lines up at 51.0 in a handicap. It's an 8-runner race. Look, it's a tough handicap, but based upon his form with a horse that was supplemented for a Derby trial, he is definitely well treated, and he's just not been considered here. And he's got a right better chance in this than he did in listed company last time. So I can't let him run without having a bit on Palazzo Blue at that sort of price. Win and place, definitely 150 Newmarket today. Matchbet Zero, long shot Matchbet Zero goes live an hour before each race. Win bets only, but you're most likely to get best odds because there's zero margin, there's zero commission. Mine's Big Mojo in the July Cup. Steve?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. This is the long shot.
Have you got lots of windows? Have you got lots of windows open, Steve?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's quite warm. Toca Madeira is my long shot in the 450 at Ascot.
Well,
sorry,
Steve.
that's terrible.
No, right. Listen, you've not been doing this for long, so don't worry. You'll get.
How many am I up to?
3,000 too many. Charlie.
Bountiful in the 212 at Newmarket, and Tom, just also as any others, like I say, Love Beach in the 755 this evening at Chester, handicap debut. Form ties in with a few. It's worked out really well. I think she's very interesting up there.
Okay, Love Beach later on today, and apparently up to 246. Our producer says, not that he's keeping count. Best Saturday bet This is part of the £5 money back special. Have a £5 bet on this treble. If it cops, happy days. If it doesn't, you get your money back. Anyway, it's for new and existing customers. It has to be these 3 horses. 5th column for me, the 325 at Newmarket. Steve.
Sissy Fan up at York in the 2 o'clock.
Nailed it. Charlie.
Never So Brave in the 222 at Ascot.
Great stuff, Charlie, Steve. Thanks very much. Thanks to everyone that contributed. Loads of comments coming in today. Keep an eye out for insights.matchbook.com for a recap of all the best bets, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.